Our first activity is just going to give a good basis for what we want to see in the school, and Naomi Cormier is going to be heading that off. It's going to be a nice hands-on activity.
Good morning, I'm Naomi Cormier, and this is Maura Hamwell.
Well, welcome again, and we're going to start the morning off with a fast-paced-ish warm-up activity. You all have numbers, and so when this instruction session ends, you're going to travel to the other far end yonder of the library and sit down at the table that corresponds with your number. Now on the table there will be 2 index cards. One says youth, one says adult. There will be a can of transformation and newspaper and scotch tape.
And the point of the activity is to build a bridge with the newspaper and the masking tape that leads from the index card that says youth to the index card that says adults. And so you're building a bridge to build the gap between them, and that supports the can of transformation.
Brilliant.
So we're hoping, because you guys are all smart, educated teachers, you'll be able to figure this one out. And you have 10 minutes to do this. And then after the 10 minutes are up, we will give warnings. And each table will have facilitators, like 1 or 2 students, to answer questions, lead you guys along, and just supervise. And we'll give you warnings on your time limits. And once the 10 minutes are up, we're going to have a small debriefing session within your table. And you should all sort of think about what kind of metaphor you think of when you think of this activity, and then we'll discuss in your small groups.
Any questions?
I think they're just set a bridge. I have no idea. Because that can't.
We'll give it job transformation. Like a bridge over transformation. Over transformation.
Yeah, sure.
Does that tape any better?
The cards? Okay.
No worries in the middle. Yeah, we had to do this at Penn State. we had. No, we had.
I thought that was not doing exactly.
Yeah. I'm going to put a That's appropriate for the way you ever get in the game.
Silly metaphor for what this all represents.
Can on paper.
No. The support of both sides. Yep. Strong foundation. Yep. And the support of both sides.
Been to a guidance workshop, haven't you?
And tape. Strong foundation. Tape.
Before we get caught up in metaphors, can I just say great job, you guys? Great job. Great job.
Because we got to put creativity.
Okay, so we're going to do a large group debrief instead because we're a little short on time, but that's okay. So now we're just going to ask people to raise their hands if they want to share what they think this meant for them symbolically, and then we can discuss. So, yes.
It was fun, and I think that students would like us as teachers to do more fun things.
There's no distance that cannot be spanned when we work together.
Okay, I'm happy you're in our group.
You know, in our group number 2, we didn't spend a lot of time thinking about it. I mean, in a good way. No, listen. I think because, and we kind of, someone gave, I think it was Becky, just came up with an idea, and so did Hal, and we just said, okay, let's run with it, and things turned out great. So sometimes we talk about things too much and don't let our instincts go, and so if you use your instincts, great, especially with students, great things are going to happen. So I just come up with that.
We just worked together really well, and we, you know, once again, we had a quick idea from Gar, and then we all just said, okay, and we just all went with it and made it happen, and I think that says a lot about what happens in a class or what happens even with us when we try to do things just go with some of the plans. You don't know if it's going to work or not, and you follow somebody's lead, and that's kind of nice.
The plan was simple, but the enthusiasm to accomplish the task is what fed the work, and that's what gave me a lot of hope.
Columns, by the way, were a real metaphor for the steps, all the different steps and all the different forms of knowledge one needs to bridge the gap.
Even though there was not a rubric with this, there was an essential question and an objective, and I think what carried it through was the humor. And I think humor is important in the classroom. I think it's important for kids to not take it as seriously and to enjoy what they're doing. And it's not necessarily how great it is aesthetically, but if it works in the end. It's the process of people looking at it.
That really shows one of our biggest goals for YATST, which is Youth and Adults Transforming Schools Together,